Hi, Chapman Steve with another video, and you're gonna notice there's a different look to it, and the reason for it, I just want to keep this private. It's my own personal story, and between all of you and me, and so I just want to do it in this way. But I want to continue further about the USS Hornet, what happened afterwards. And my mindset at the time, as I mentioned, that I really wanted to kind of verify the fact that there really was a spiritual world. This is some time back. And so I just wanted for it, and I thought I had found a method that I really could do that to verify that there was something going on. What I didn't count on is what happened afterwards. And what happened afterwards, to put in blunt terms, the bad guys followed me home. But I want to insert something very important. 95% of you will never, you don't even have to worry about what I'm going to tell you. There are some of us who go through this. And you know, sometimes God has a reason for it, and I'm going to tell you what the reason is later. But 95% of you don't. But the 5%, things are going to go on, and I'll explain later, but they have no idea what awaits them. They have no idea. And the things I've gone through, I got to tell you, they have no idea what awaits them. But let me go ahead and continue. And I said the first month there was no activity, and then the voice came on. There was clear as day. It was a male voice. It seemed to have some authority to it, and nice voice. You know, it was a pleasant voice, and it said, the question you have to ask, what is significance to you? The question you have to ask, what is significance to you? And the bottom line is, you know, at the time I didn't really take a lot of creed to it, you know, and I didn't quite know what it was all about, but I gave it some thought afterwards. What happened right after that, all hell broke loose. And I mean literally all hell broke loose. And what started off, I got attacked. And I got attacked by the evil realm. And I got to tell you, they have methods and they have ways of doing things. It's just unimaginable what they can do to you. But in the first part of it, I felt pain, and the pain, parts of your body you don't even know exist. I mean, they're really good at this. And then the other part of the mind games and how they play the mind games, they build you up to tear you down. You think they're gone, they come back. I mean, they do all kinds of things to you, and then tell you you're going to hell and you're damned and all this stuff. So I was really going through quite a bit, and I have to tell you, I was really believing it. And you know, when you start going through this, it's like no other experience you can imagine. You know, I just don't know how to explain it to you. There's just no other way to explain it to you. It is the most terrifying thing I went through in the beginning. But anyway, to continue on it is that the mind games they played, what they do for that month, which I didn't know and I found out later, they study you. They study you every second of every day. And they study, if you're pretty close to mine, they get to know how you think. They get to know, you know, your family. They get to know how you respond to your family. They get to know what your values are. And this particular case was very important to them to know what I really truly value. And what I value is my family. What I value is my friends. I feel it, you know, value my wife relationship, being married to her. I value her family, all the family, just, you know, all the family. And so, but here's what they did. They used it against me. And I have to tell you, when they said this to me, I don't know how to tell you. It was just really bad. But they were telling me that they were going to affect my family. They were going to affect all my cousins. They were going to affect everyone. They were going to affect my wife. They're going to affect her family. They're going to affect my friends. And I'm thinking, as they're going through this, I'm believing it. I am sincerely believing all what they're telling me, because I didn't know what was going on here. And so I was terrified that, you know, cousins, you know, my wife, everybody's going to get infected, and they were going through the same thing I'm going through. And they're going to go through hell, basically. And so it was just terrible, guys. I didn't tell my wife. I kept it to myself for some time, but at some point I had to tell her. And the reason I had to tell her is that, you know, about this infection. But the other part of it, I didn't tell her the one thing. I only had one alternative. I wanted to end it. I didn't want to infect anybody else, and it was a terrible alternative, but I had to commit suicide. I had to end my life. And that's actually what I tried to do, to end my life. And that's a drastic measure. I never thought in my entire life I'd ever, you know, be in that kind of situation. But, you know, and when I made the decision to go ahead and do that. And during the process, I found a park. I went out for a drive, and I thinking to myself that was the last drive I was going to do. And I found a tree in front of me, and that's where I was going to go ahead and hit that tree dead center and just end it. I want to make sure I was gone. And so, and you know, the evil realm, they're continuing to damned, and let's get this over with, kill yourself, so on and so forth, and So I really did. I went forward to it, and I was heading towards the tree, and I had no seatbelt. I wanted to make sure I was gone. And I had no seatbelt, and I was heading for the tree, and I pressed that accelerator right down to the floor. And I looked down, and I saw I was going about 60, 65 miles an hour. And I was heading right for that tree, dead center. And then, I didn't pass out. It just went into a void. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it just went black. The thing you have to understand is, and I just found this interesting how this happened, but I went in a void, and because I was kind of like passed out or whatever, my hand was on the steering wheel. And because I kind of passed out, my arm just kind of fell down, and I was still on the steering wheel. So what it did, it turned the wheels to the right. So instead of hitting the trees dead on, I hit it, I ricocheted off. The next thing that happened too was kind of interesting too. I found myself, getting up after a certain period of time, and I tried to start the car, and it just kept turning over and over and over again. And then blood was coming down, by my forehead, and I knew. And then I started remembering everything, and even including the kind of the ending experience that occurred. But anyway, what happened is that I was in terrible shape. My car was totally demolished, and the ambulance came. The ambulance, the fire department came, and then they had to saw me out of there. And I was going to tell you about the tree, but basically, when I found myself, I looked at the tree, and the tree was before me, almost 100 feet before, and it should have, if I ricocheted off the tree, I would have been going off the road, going northeast, and I was not. I was before, about 100 feet before it. Until this day, I can't figure out the laws of physics on that, but there was more forces going on this. But anyway, I went to the ambulance, and I said I was in really bad shape, and I ended up being in the hospital. I went to the ER. My wife came. They called her up, and she took some pictures of what was going on, but I was in broken bones. I was in pretty bad shape. And I ended up being in the hospital, and she stayed with me for some period of time, and then she had to go, I think she had to go to the restroom or something like that, and so she left the room for a little bit. And I think she also, to be honest with you, needed a break. This was pretty intense for her. But anyway, after she left, about some moments later, I heard a very nice voice. As clear as day, I heard this female voice. Very nice, very calming. I don't know how to explain it to you, but she just said to me the following: "It's not your time. It just isn't your time." And so I thought about that afterwards, and what I realized, because the evil was trying to tell me they were going to kill me, so on and so forth, and I was going to kill myself, and so on and so forth, the only person, only God can decide when you go home. That is it. There is no other authority that has that. Only God can decide when it's your time. So that was pretty important to realize. And, being in the hospital for some period of time, I started getting, I was in there, and I started getting better, and I was discharged. And believe it or not, my life got kind of back to normal. The reason being is that I put my family before me. And evil didn't have, and the other thing I'm going to tell you, I think all of you out there are, the same way as I am. Others come before you. And given the same circumstances, you would all do the same. But anyway, so evil didn't have a hold on me. So from years on, my life was pretty normal. Every once in a while, I had some stuff going on, but very minor. No really big deal at all. And, about 6 years ago, I became a chaplain. And that's a whole other story, too, and I have said this before. Not in a million years have I ever thought I'd become a chaplain. But things kind of fell into place. Things were being guided for me to do that, and I became a chaplain. And then I became ordained a couple of months later. I had to go through more training, and I became ordained. And soon after that, the whole thing started over again. And I had mentioned in other videos that, you become a target. But I got to tell you, this time around, though, the symptoms of it, or being attacked, is a lot less. It only goes to a certain point. And that's because, I'm of the good. So, but I'm just going through this. But anyway, it was just, to tell you guys that it was just a terrible thing to go through. And I, right now I'm still going through some stuff. And the other thing what I sense about this, and I thought about, what the voice said in the very beginning. The voice said, the question you have to ask is, what is significance to you? It didn't say anything about hell. It didn't say I wasn't damned, anything like that at all. What is the significance to you? So what that tells me, and after some real thought about that, and just kind of a sense in my, in me, God wants me to know about this. He wants me to know about evil. And you know what? I know about evil. And I also know evil when I see it. And I don't know, to be honest with you, when I'm getting a sense of that I'm a messenger of some kind. And I don't know where this is all going just yet. And I don't know if other people are going to be involved in this, but the truth of the matter is right now we're going through a lot. Our country, the world is really going through, and we're on a path of darkness. To say it the least, there's a path of darkness that's starting to really come forward. The thing I'm going to tell you, though, what is this all about is about choice. It is about free will. And God is, in the sense I get, God's going to be standing back, and it's up to us how we're going to choose. We can go the path of darkness, or we go the path of light. And it's really up to us. And right now, darkness is really getting a hold on it. And normally, the spiritual world goes kind of parallel to ours, but every once in a while it intersects. And the only time it intersects is when evil is getting a hold. And so that's what's going on. And basically, as I said, that's where we're going through. And I feel like I'm some sort of a messenger. I don't know how it all going to unfold at this point. And I said before too, I'm just kind of waiting in time. I'm not sure and I kind of see if maybe things kind of resolve themselves. I just don't know. But anyway, that's my story. I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to kind of keep it private again. But the one thing I'm going to tell you, though, anybody who goes down the path of evil, I don't know how plain I can make this. It's terrible. They have tools, the likes of which they have ways of going about things. They know the human body. They know the human mind. They know things really well. I mean, since the beginning of time, they've had to work on this. And so I just can tell you, what awaits you people that go down the path of evil is beyond horrific. It's unimaginable what can happen. But again, I'm going to go ahead and end it here just real quick. But what it really is all about, and I'm going to talk about division in another video really soon. And I'll talk about it, and you kind of get it and see how it all ties in together. But yeah, it's been one hell of an experience, and I'm going to end it here. But as I said before, 95% of you will never even go. You don't have to even think about it. But you will have to think about the choice that's in front of us, and I'm going to discuss that in the next video. Again, I want to thank you very much for your time, and as always, I hope your day is going well, and hope your day is going well. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate you doing that. Thanks again. Appreciate it.